Today, we're jumping right into the front lines of medicine. We're going to uncover a really powerful lesson about focus, about performance, and about what it truly means to be present, all found in a single life or death moment. Have you ever been there? You know, you're under some kind of intense pressure, a huge presentation, a family emergency, a deadline that's just looming. Your heart's pounding, your mind is a total blur, and it feels like you're trying to look in 10 different directions at once. Yeah, that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, it's something we all go through. But imagine if that feeling wasn't just uncomfortable. What if it was literally a matter of life and death? Well, that's just another day in an emergency room, especially during what they call a code, that incredibly frantic, all-hands-on-deck scramble to save someone whose heart has stopped. Listen to this. It's from a junior doctor, Dr. Amrit, and it just hits the nail on the head. He said, "I was so focused on the rhythm, I wasn't watching the team." See? That's the problem right there. When chaos hits, our brains get scattered, and we do this weird thing where we zoom in on one detail, and when we do that, we miss everything else, even the really important stuff. Look, it's a mistake any of us could make, but in the ER, the consequences are just so much higher. Okay, and this is where the story gets really, really interesting. It's all about how this one senior doctor teaches his residents to use a principle from, of all things, Dhyana yoga, a type of meditation. But here's the kicker. They're not doing this on some peaceful mountaintop. No, they're learning to apply it smack in the middle of the loudest, most stressful place you can possibly imagine. So what is going on inside our heads when all this chaos erupts? Let's take a closer look at this whole scattered mind problem. Take Dr. Purva, another junior doctor. Her story is honestly, it's pretty chilling. For her, the mental overload wasn't just about missing a detail. It actually warped her sense of reality. Time literally bent. She was in the room, doing the work, but like she said, her mind was just somewhere else. So her mentor asks her, "Where were you?" And her answer is so telling. She admits she was stuck replaying a past case, one she'd lost, and she was terrified this one would end the same way. See, her mind wasn't in this crisis. It was stuck in the last one, and already dreading a possible future one. It was trapped between the ghosts of the past and the fear of what's to come. And, this isn't just some psychological quirk. It's straight up biology. There's this huge mismatch between all the stuff flying at us and what our brains can actually handle. Let's look at the actual numbers here. Okay, picture this. During a code, a doctor is getting hit with at least 15 different things all at once. You've got monitor alarms going off, ventilator alarms, people shouting, the sound of compressions, family members crying in the hall, plus that little voice in your own head trying to run through all the protocols. I mean, it is a total sensory assault. But here's the problem. Here is the crucial mismatch. Our brains, as amazing as they are, can only really focus on about 3 to 5 things at any given moment. Just think about that for a second. You've got 15 plus things coming at you, but your brain's capacity is like 5, tops. So what happens? Well, faced with that kind of overload, the brain just panics. It has no idea which of those 15 things are the 3 to 5 that actually matter. It can't tell the signal from the noise, so it either just freezes up completely, or it does what Dr. Amrit did. It grabs onto one single thing and completely loses sight of the big picture. So how in the world do you fight that? Well, the senior doctor, this guy, Dr. SB, he doesn't hand them a textbook. No, he gives them a toolkit. A bunch of really practical mental exercises designed to be an anchor for your mind right in the middle of the storm. The first tool is so simple, it's brilliant. Instead of trying to keep track of everything, you just create 2 simple anchors for your mind. First, the rhythm on the monitor. You're not staring at it, just a quick peek every 20 seconds or so. And second, the time. A quick look at the clock every minute. Just those 2 things. They're constants that keep you grounded, kind of like a lighthouse in a thick fog. Okay, so once you have those anchors, you build on them with the next tool. It's called the 2-second sweep. Instead of trying to watch everything all the time, you do these super fast structured check-ins. It goes like this. 1, check the patient. Are compressions good? Airway clear? IVs working? 2, check the team. Is anyone getting flustered or falling behind? And 3, check the timeline. How long has this been going on? When's the next drug due? It's just a really smart way to process information quickly without getting totally overwhelmed. Now, this next part, this is the real challenge. It's training your brain to filter all that stuff automatically. You see, an experienced doctor literally hears the room differently. Their brain has learned over time to just tune out the noise that doesn't matter, the meaningless alarms, the chit-chat, and to turn up the volume on the signals that are actually critical. And this isn't some kind of magic superpower. It's a skill they've built up over thousands of hours of practicing it on purpose. So what's the end game here? What's the goal of all this training? Well, it's to reach that state of peak performance that you hear athletes talk about. They call it being in the zone. Surgeons have a word for it too, flow. And in yoga, they have a name for it, Dhyana. It's that state where you are just completely absorbed in what you're doing, in the present moment. Time almost feels like it's slowing down. Everything you do feels effortless, and there's no separation between you and the thing you're doing. You're not thinking about running the code anymore. You are the code. Okay, so you can't just flip a switch and enter a flow state. It doesn't work like that. But what you can do is create the right conditions for it to happen. First, you need a ton of experience. So you're not even thinking about the basic mechanics. You absolutely have to be present, right here, right now. The task has to be challenging, but not so hard that it's impossible. You need clear, instant feedback, which, in the ER, the patient's monitor gives you. And last but not least, your body has to be calm. Because if your body's freaking out, your mind will be too. All right, the theory is cool and all, but what does this actually look like when the alarm starts screaming for real? Let's watch how all these pieces come together when everything is on the line. So a code blue gets called. Dr. Perva runs in, and it is pure chaos. The family is screaming. Alarms are blaring all over the place. Staff members are arguing. But instead of just diving into the mess, she does something different. She pauses, just for a second. She centers herself. And then, one by one, she starts removing the noise. She has someone gently escort the family out. She silences the alarms that aren't critical. She starts assigning clear roles to everyone. She creates order out of the chaos. That pause, that little 3-second pause, that was everything. It was like she created this tiny island of calm for herself in the middle of a hurricane. And from that quiet place, she could finally see things clearly. She was able to diagnose what was really going on, a massive blood clot in the lungs, and make a really tough, high-risk call to give a powerful clot-busting drug. And that decision saved the patient's life. What's so incredible about this story is that it's not just about doctors. Not at all. This is a lesson for every single one of us. This is really about how we choose to show up in our own lives. Because think about it. If you can train your mind to be present in the middle of a crisis, you can also train it to be present during the quiet moments, during a conversation with someone you love, or just, noticing a beautiful sunset. It's a practice that teaches you to stop reliving the past or stressing about the future and to just finally show up for your own life, to be right here, right now. Look, this is not easy stuff. Not by a long shot. There's this ancient quote from the Bhagavad Gita that basically says, the mind is restless and as hard to control as the wind. And it's true. The struggle to tame our minds is as old as time. Our brains are literally built to wander. So the practice isn't about being perfect. It's just about the gentle, constant effort of bringing your attention back to the present moment, over and over and over again. So I want to leave you with this question. The ER, yeah, it's a super dramatic example, but we all have our own kind of chaos, don't we? So in the middle of your deadlines, your family stress, your personal struggles, what's going to be your anchor? What's the 3-second pause that's going to help you find that stillness so you can act with clarity?